So, Monday, I've been up since 7, so that's good. I believe this is a Hammer Hands mech. I 3D printed this bad boy out, and I'm getting ready to paint it up. Actually, in my brother's color scheme, which is red black. He likes to play House Kurita, Draconis combo. So, pretty easy paint scheme, red and black. On a relatively soft brush. Get a little bit of clean water on it. Oh, my daughter's home. Heard her car beep. Maybe you heard it too. But see, just thin down red paint. Actually, I'm using a dark red paint. It's a scarlet color. Hello, daughter. Well, here comes the boy. For these Battletech figures, I like to get the paint really, really thin. Because, like, the details are pretty fine on these things. So if you go over them too thick, you will lose details a lot of times. So all it means is, you know, it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt because you're going to have to paint him, you know, a couple coats at least. But in the end, it all turns out. The Hammerhand mech is basically just a different model of the Warhammer. Warhammer, of course, is a classic. And it's one of the Robotech mechs. So when Harmony Gold and FASA got into their tiff about those signs, it became one of the unseen for a very long time, which basically meant they were no longer able to put them into any of their books. They were no longer allowed to make the miniatures. That lawsuit went on for, I don't know, 30 years. Eventually, a judge ruled that Harmony Gold was incorrect and that now, well, FASA's pretty much dead. Now I think it's Harebrained Schemes and Catalyst Games would be allowed to make the old designs. So that's good. I almost bought the Robotech game when it came out because my understanding is that the Robotech miniatures they built that look like, well, that are the riflemen and the Warhammer archer and longbow are the same scale as Battletech figures, which I believe these guys are 10 millimeter scale or one something 126 or something like that. But so this guy I'm holding in my hand, if he were real, he would be about 3 stories tall, somewhere around 30 feet or so. All right. So that's one nice thin red coat. I'm going to let that dry down a little bit. I hear painted black in the other room. nice and smooth. So we're gonna have to let that guy dry. Otherwise, nope, I missed a spot right there. And then I'll be able to put on the second coat of red paint and give it a really nice red. After that, I'll probably do a little bit of highlighting, dry brush, and then. So today, right now, there's a half track that I'm still making my mind up about whether I want to winterize it. There's a Panzer III in, I think, and I'm getting ready to throw some stripes on that bad boy. That's dark green. For a mid-war camo pattern, use this reflective green. It's chocolate brown and reflective green. And if you don't want it to look too crazy, because I'm doing it with a brush, you have to, again, water it down quite a bit. I have an airbrush, but it's out in the garage, and right now it's probably 100 degrees out there. Welcome to the deep south. All right. It's pretty thin. Hopefully that'll work. Looks like it will. But yeah, in World War II, after the Germans decided they were no longer going to paint all their tanks gray, which, believe it or not, was supposed to be, they thought the gray tanks would be harder to see at a distance, especially if they were hiding near trees or whatever. That was the theory anyway. But as the war drug on and they needed their vehicles to the front quicker, what they would actually do is ship them out to frontline units in this dark yellow dungle greb, they called. And they would throw a couple cans of paint, a green and a brown, in the tank. So when the tank arrived at the front, the new crew they'd hand the tank over, say the supply guys would be like, Hans, come pick up your new tank. And they'd take it out to wherever, and then they would, a lot of times they didn't have brushes. So what they would do is they would wrap a old shirt or something like that, cloth material, around a stick, and kind of hand make a brush like that, and then paint the tank, which is why if you look at old pictures, see, the green is really subtle. It's wet right now, but you see. This is why there was no kind of standard as far as how German tanks, were painted. Sometimes you would have thin stripes or thicker stripes, or they do the ambush pattern, which is where you block colors in and then go back over it with the opposite color and make dots. They call that ambush. That's much more common late war. And then, of course, sometimes they wouldn't camo them at all. There'd be a lot of times the tank just wouldn't be camoed at all. But this guy, I'm intending to paint winter. So it's going to end up looking a lot like this. But I'm going to use a much thinner white paint when I go over it, so that even though it'll be winter, you'll still see patches of that camouflage peeping through. Because the reason for that is in the winter, the Germans, the paint they used was washable paint. water washable paint, basically. And the theory was that you paint the tank white, and then when the spring came and everything melted and it started raining, the paint would wash off. The Russians did the exact same thing. Then, as far as what I've been working on, also today, that's a Fiat 1440, I believe, or 41. There's my Simavente. Those are just base colors, and they're probably going to stay that way. Maybe a little edge line highlighting and a little detail work. And this is a Fiat. I think this is a 1940, and the other one's a 1441. Still trying to figure out how I want to paint these Corn Berserkers. I know I don't want to paint them red, though. I want to paint them black. I'm just not sure if black and gold or black and a red bronze color. Mainly, I want them to fit in with my Black Legion army. And I saw pictures of, Death Guard and Corn Berserkers and whatever painted in Black Legion colors. So that's what I'm shooting for. All right, now things I built that need to get primed today. I built an Opel Blitz truck. This one I just did a normal truck, not Malter. So nothing really special. I mean, in game, it's a cheap tow in bolt action. This guy's a really cheap tow, a really cheap troop transport, and the Germans used a lot more of these than half tracks. Half tracks is kind of only like your most elite, well-connected units got half tracks. Otherwise, it was either you walked or you rode in a truck. This I built, and this was a good kit. First off, it's a Hanamag. This is a late one. You can tell by the flat sides in the back. So, but the cool thing about this kit, which is Rubicon, is I built the parts to make it a Stuka Zufus, or Stuka on the foot, which is a rocket artillery piece. And the way the kit is made, you don't have, it will just pop on there, and then you can pop it off if you don't want to use it. And another reason the Rubicon kit, I think, is better than the Warlord kit, the models are damn near identical, but the Rubicon kit comes with 2 different canvas toppers for your half track. So you buy the kit with the Stuka Zufus in it, and you get a canvas topper for your half track. You get 2 actually, because I took the extra one and put it on a half track I already owned. So, this guy pops in just like that. So that's pretty good. You could use this as an armored ambulance, just troop transport. In the Eastern Front, they would use canvas and stuff like that just to protect the infantrymen. This is a Pack 38-93, I believe. I picked one of these up, and I'll probably pick up at least one more, because my long-term goal is to build a Romanian army, and they actually get one of these for free in their army list, which is a pretty good deal because it uses the same stats as Pack 40. So this kit also came with the shield, wheels, and barrel to make a Pack 38. If memory serves, that would be the 50 millimeter or 5 centimeter gun. I've already got the Pack 36, which was a decent kit, and it came with the Steel Granat rocket launcher edition. So there you go with that one. The next thing I built, this kit was really cool, is a Pack 40, 7.5 centimeter anti-tank gun. It's a good kit. Both of these kits came with like 5 or 6 crew, a bunch of boxes, shell casing, shells, all kinds of stuff. Stowage basically that you can throw around them on the base, to make them look cool. Then I built an SU-122 assault gun. This thing fills the same role in the Russian army as the German STUH. It's got a 122 millimeter howitzer. Pretty much they would bring, if they ran into fortifications and stuff like that, you'd bring this bad boy up to deal with it. And this is, of course, the SU-85 tank killer. And this served the same function in the Soviet army as the Stug-3. These are the same exact kits. And one thing I realized when I was building the second kit is if I hadn't glued this down, I could have just swapped them out. So, I mean, you could literally buy one of these kits. It comes with the gun casement and all the parts to build the gun and everything for both guns. So you build the hull of it, and this thing just pops on and off. Of course, I didn't know that because I'm used to other kits, and I build it the way I build it, which is cool. I probably wouldn't have done the whole popping one thing offer. All right, and now this is another German truck or heavy car, 6x4, Holtz, Hertz, or something like that. Again, it's a Rubicon kit, and I really like it. It's an interesting little truck. It's hard to believe they used these things they used them all over until the end of the war, because they would use anything they could get. So this Joker served from like 36 to 45 on all fronts. So North Africa, Eastern and Western Europe, especially in the East a lot of times. Just like the Blitz, the Opal, same thing. Served on all fronts. Interesting detail too. If you look here, there's a spare tire under there. I mean, that's kind of cool. So these things, I've got a little box. I'm stacking these things in to go out to the garage to get. I generally prime all of my miniatures flat black, and I have Vallejo flat black primer. I also got a rattle can, and for these, I'll just use the rattle can. That way, it'll save me the time of having to set up, I've got a flak Verling still in the box, and excuse my poor German because, so Rubicon model. I think this guy was like $16. The reason it's still in the box is I ordered I ordered an SDKF Z7. That's kind of the big half track. That was an artillery tractor. I mean, it's the one that had like 4 rows of bench seating behind the driver's seat. I was watching how to build the kit online, and one of the things you can actually do, it comes with a bed plate you put down, and you can mount one of these on it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to build an SDKF Z7 with a 2 centimeter flak Verling 38 on it. And this kit comes with, I don't know if you can see it or not, a trailer to haul all the ammo. So you'll have the half track, the gun on it, and the trailer being pulled behind it with all the extra ammo and everything like that. I don't even know if there's rules for using it, but Yeah, see, normally used on an unarmored SDKF Z7. So yeah, I don't know if that there's even rules in the game for this thing, but I'm still gonna paint it up, and I think that'll be cool. But I'm putting that down there right now. And then I know I've already showed this off, but got my third box of German infantry in winter because I'm going to use parts out of this to make the crew for all of my guns, so that the gun crews, which will be winter painted, um, the crew will match the gun. I've already got one of the old Warlord Games Pack 40s, and I thought about busting it off of the base it's on and just rebasing it with, the reason I didn't is it's metal and it's a pain in the ass to deal with. These plastic Rubicon AT gun kits are amazing. They are, so, I mean, I always take plastic over metal. Anyone that prefers metal, I mean, I don't know why you would. I was going to say something, but then again, I thought it's preference, so who cares? I'm sure there are people out there that just like the weight of it. Whereas this is just a resin kit. Like I said, that I printed. It took like 3 hours to print this and four other mechs I had on the build plate, and it cost me about 50 cents or $1, I guess. When you consider how much, well, these guys aren't available. I was gonna say, but a normal mech, which is I think why you don't see them in stores anymore, but a normal mech from like Iron Wind Enterprises, a metal mech, they want like $20. 15 for the small ones, and some of the big ones can be very expensive. It's honestly, for a game that's just not that popular, it's not sustainable. And their argument, I'm sure, is, well, you only need four of them, right? But that's still $80 for four mechs, and no one ever just wants four. I mean, it's like Pringles. Once you get into BattleTech, you're not you're okay. I'm not. I have a tendency to paint with broad brush and say what other people will do. But the reality is, I'm not going to do that. That's my history. I'm going to buy four. I'm going to look at them. I'm going to think they're cool. I'm going to play them a couple games. And then I'm going to think, well, why not try this thing? Or why not try that thing? Like the Jenner is cool, but for 35 tons, you can get a Raven. The Marauder's cool, but for the same tonnage, well, there's no end of 75 tons. I mean, for heavies, that's it. But I think you get what I'm saying. And I'm that way with 40K too. I've got two different 40K armies on the back burner right now. Part of me would like to build about 1,000 points worth of Sisters of Battle, just because I think it'd be cool. And now at least my understanding is, there are plastic miniatures. So total paint count on my Mordians is 11, which puts me, I'm caught up. I got 11 painted, so still on schedule, or I might be one behind, but I will knock one out later today. I busted my ass all day yesterday, so other than cleaning up the ferret cage and doing a couple of household chores, I pretty much have the whole day. Alright, so here's the scarlet red. There's the second coat. It's looking really nice and really red, if you like red. Yeah. Oh, there's a little bit of, like I said, these things have a lot of detail in them. So when you're painting them, there's a little cracks and crevices and whatnot that you need to be mindful of. So that's the base red color. Right. So here he is. Now what'll happen is the thighs, upper arms, and gun barrels are going to be black. They're actually, I don't paint anything in black anymore. They're going to be painted dark German gray, which is like a shade or two above matte black. It looks more natural, I think, on a miniature. It's really easy. It's great paint too. It's a Vallejo model color paint. Ton of, just a whole ton of pigment in it. So it's gonna look pretty good. Now this guy right here, after I put him on his base, that's a Zeus. It's an 85 ton. And this is one of the variant Zeuses. And it will be, a lot of them have like a fin up here. This guy doesn't. But it'll be painted probably purple or blue white. Either it'll be, I'll paint it up as a personal mech for me, or I'll paint it up as a mech for house signer. So that's what's going on a Monday. Just doing a little hobbying and hanging out, pretty much. So let's see. See if everything's dry. Everything's about dry. I need to. This guy right here, I need to work on too. I got the exterior done, but I need to paint the interior and then put the crew in, which means I have to actually find out the color that the Germans usually painted the interior of their vehicles was kind of an off-white eggshell color, but anyway, yeah, I'll probably make another video later too, but so, yep, going to end the recording and then get to work painting.